How can I become trauma-informed as a life coach? Trauma-informed care is crucial in the coaching industry. I'm coming from a background of mental health. I'm a professional psychologist, and I know the importance of being trauma-informed. Let's talk about how you can get there. I'm going to be very clear and transparent about this because with the increased importance of mental health awareness, being trauma-informed as a life coach is something that you can do to make sure that you're helping and not hurting. Let's talk about 5 specific principles, and incidentally, you are responsible for this because coaching is not a regulated industry. So you get to assume responsibility to be informed. Let's go. Principle number 1. Understand the brain's response to trauma. Here's the quick version. Your brain's job is to keep you safe and to prove you right. Between those two simple things, we can understand our brain's trauma response. When trauma happens, your brain detects the threat and starts to react in ways that are intended to protect you from that threat. Some people experience this as a shutdown. Some people experience it as the fight or flight response. There are a lot of ways that this can manifest, and you can learn more about how the brain and the body naturally respond to trauma so that you can recognize it when it comes up in a coaching session. Principle number 2. Trauma is neutral. Wait, what? Hold on. What did he just say? Trauma is neutral. When I say trauma is neutral, I'm referring to a very specific psychological model that I'm showing you here on this card. Don't worry about trying to take some notes on this. I'm going to give you a copy of this. In fact, you can get a free PDF download of this model by going to the URL on the screen right now, drpauljenkins.com/themodel. And let me give you just a quick insight into what this is. You'll have the description once you receive the model in your inbox. And you'll see when you get your printout of the model that what it is right on the middle of a bidirectional arrow there in the middle of the model. It is what it is. It could always be better. It could always be worse. Wait a minute. Is that true? Think about it. No matter how bad the trauma is, it could be worse. Right? Some people will argue with this and say, well, what if it kills you? Yeah, and would that be worse than if it doesn't? Because some people would rather that it killed them, right? Than to endure whatever the trauma was. What we're getting at here is your brain's way of evaluating any life experience, including trauma. When I say it's neutral, I'm simply acknowledging it could be worse. It could be better. And is that true on the better side? That no matter how good things seem, it could always be better. So that's all I'm talking about. And the model will tie it together so that it makes more sense for you to see that all in a visual model. Trauma is neutral. And while we're on this point, may I also suggest that trauma is universal. Meaning every citizen of the planet experiences it in some form or another. Does that resonate with you? Now, being trauma-informed means that you, as a coach, as a counselor, as someone who's trying to help people out, you get to understand this first. If you think that trauma is a special condition, then you will treat it differently than if you treat it as a neutral, universal condition. I'm not saying that we should downplay or minimize people's trauma. It is, after all, what it is. But understanding that it's neutral and universal will help us to show up in a way that helps our client to understand their brain's own response to it. And this is a crucial element of being trauma-informed. It's really interesting to me that there seems to be some movement out there, maybe in social media is where this is driven the most, where people talk about big T and little t when it comes to trauma. Have you heard that reference before? Meaning big T is the big trauma and little t is the little trauma. It's all trauma. And again, not to minimize those who experience trauma, but to put it into context in order for our brain to process it in a healthy way. We have to understand that it is both neutral and universal. More to come on that. Here's the third principle I wanted to bring to your awareness when it comes to being trauma-informed. You, as a helping professional or individual, need to understand your own impact on the dynamic of the relationship that you have with the person that you're trying to help. It makes a difference how you show up. Part of the brain's response to trauma is protection. If you are showing up in ways that are not safe or trustworthy or supportive, that creates a dynamic where we can actually re-traumatize people. Remember, their brain's trying to keep them safe. Even though they're safe now, memories of the trauma will trigger certain responses in their brain. So, as helping professionals or individuals, being very aware of how we impact that setting. This is why being aware of our own impact changes the way we can be effective in working with people. And here's a little pro tip along those lines. Be aware of your own history with trauma. What trauma have you experienced in the past? And I've said this so many times to the coaches that I train and mentor. Coaches need coaching because we have our own blind spots and we're not always aware of the way we show up that may be triggering different issues for our clients too. So become very familiar with your own history and relationship with trauma. Principle number 4, training and education. Kind of like what you're doing on this video here today. You're taking in information that helps you to be more aware that it's even an issue. There are numerous resources out there to help you become trauma-informed as a coach or as a therapist or as someone who just wants to help people to navigate this thing we call Earth life. Learn whatever you can and then look for ways to apply that in your particular area. And here's the final principle that I want to share with you today. Collaboration, consultation, and referral. You don't have to do this alone, and you shouldn't, partially because you have your own blind spots, you have your own history with trauma. It's important to have trusted colleagues that you can work with that will help you to be more aware of those blind spots, but also give you ideas and support and collaboration where it's needed to better serve your clients. Know when you're bumping up against the limits of your own experience and expertise. When you start to see yourself bumping up against those limits, it might be time to, at the very least, consult and possibly refer that client on to someone else. Build a network of trusted and competent colleagues that can help you along these lines. You don't have to do this alone. Can I be that support for you? If you resonate with this video and the others here on the channel, it might be time for us to talk. Go to the URL on the screen, drpauljenkins.com/let's meet. That will take you to a calendar where you can set up a private consultation with me or a member of my team to see if there might be some ways we can help you in being trauma-informed.